welcome to another episode of People of Middlebury. My name is Farid Ephraim, and today's guest we have Akhila Khanna. Thank you so much for being on our show. Really, really appreciate it. And so, Akhila, I remember like the first time I met you. I don't know if you even remember this. It was like when I was doing my Middlebury trip. I was in the Middlebury trip for Vermont Media Tour.
Oh, yeah.
And you were on the other trip. We was in some house outside of like Middlebury, somewhere there, and writing a play based on the
people in like Rochester.
Yeah, but like it was based on the hurricane.
Hurricane, yeah.
Was it Irene?
Yeah.
No, yeah, it was Hurricane.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I remember like we had a chance to interview you, and like everybody in the back was like, "Oh my gosh, she's so pretty! Oh my gosh, no!" And so I was like, "Oh, true, yeah." And so and then throughout like the year, we kind of just like met in various occasions, and then I got a chance to build up our friendship and stuff like that. And so it was just, I remember the very first time we met you, we had like a nice conversation via like the camcorder, like it was about similar to these ones, and that was really cool. And but see, I feel like a lot of people don't get a chance to know you as I did, and you know, right here in this show, I like to start off with like some of the generics, and it's like back to orientation week almost again, you know. So like, where are you from?
So I'm from New Delhi, India, and I went to high school in India, like public high school. Yeah. And I just applied to Middlebury because both my parents went to liberal arts colleges in the US. Oh. So like my dad did his postgrad in the US, and my mom did her undergrad at Smith College. So for me, it's always been like college in America is like the way, it's like the place to be in. So that's why I applied to like liberal arts colleges because I had no idea what I wanted to study, and then I ended up at Middlebury. So.
It's a great place. It's kind of cold today though. Very windy. But yeah, that's also like one of the things I was gonna ask you. Like, how did you because like from a big city like New Delhi to like small remote town, like how does one hear of Middlebury from all the way back there? But
so it's quite common actually for people in my public school to come to the US to study.
Really?
Also because I feel like the US education system is very good because there isn't like a particular field which you're going into. A liberal arts college is so holistic, it's so open, and I had no like I said, I had no idea what I wanted to study. I knew that I was interested in the performing arts, but I did not know if I wanted to do it in like an academic setting. So just like to keep my options open, I applied to a liberal arts college, and Middlebury just happened to be one of them. So yeah.
That's great. So glad to have you here.
Yeah.
So you kind of mentioned like you were very interested in performance from like a very young age, and I work at the box office, and I've been selling tickets for this show called Mendel Inc. And I'm wondering I knew you're in it, and you had a wonderful time with it from what I understand. And so can you tell us a little about that? It shows a huge time commitment.
Yeah. So I played a very small character in Mendel Inc, but I learned a lot in the process. So the story is basically about a Jewish family in the Lower East Side of Manhattan, and it's about this inventor who's my father, Mendel, and how he's completely responsible. Like he's only into his inventions. He doesn't care about like his household work. And then suddenly he invents a machine which is very successful, and his family leaves him because they're like, oh, this machine is like not going to work. It's you don't pay the rent, you don't do anything. But at the end of the story, the play is basically about how people can find comfort in each other's interaction and in the family itself versus on materialistic things like money and a big house. So it's a very heartwarming story, and actually I learned a lot observing the senior actors do their roles. And like I said, I was a very minute character, so majority of my time I spent backstage, or I spent in the audience just watching these guys rehearse every day, watching their process. And like I said, it was a very different culture because I was playing a character who is Jewish and I'm not Jewish, and I was playing a character who's a lot younger than I am. So I had to go through some major changes, like my hair got cut, and I had to learn about the Jewish culture, which was again a great research process.
Hashtag liberal arts though.
Yeah, liberal arts. There you go. Yeah.
That's cool. So so the show just happened this weekend, right?
Yeah, it happened.
How was that? How'd it go?
Oh, it was so fun. The audience reacted. I mean, they were laughing at everything. It was so
Was it comedy?
Yeah, it was a full-blown comedy, and I don't expect the audience to laugh at so many things. It was great. The audience, the audience energy helps you be energetic on stage.
I understand.
Yeah.
Definitely. Like if you had like a dry audience, I'd be like, alright.
Yeah.
Why am I even? I completely understand. Yeah, I did theater back in high school too, and it's just like if the audience is just like, nah.
Yeah.
The show just kind of becomes like, it's just like a very demotivating, demoralizing kind of experience. But yeah. Also, I know you're very into dance. So I was wondering like, what kind of dance you do, and like, how'd you get into it?
So I think since the age of 4, since the age of 4, I've been trained in Bharatanatyam, which is dance typical to South India. And I grew up, I was pushed into Bharatanatyam actually because I was an extremely hyperactive child and I was overly enthusiastic about everything. So my mom just put me into classes to like channel my energy, I think.
What did you do at home?
No, I was just not like a disruptive child, but I was just like full of energy all the time. And I was like one of those kids who would just always be dancing and just like making like dancing to like my own rhythm. I don't know. I think my mom just noticed something and she just pushed me into like dance classes. And I remember I loved it because it was just a bunch of us girls in our like salwar kameez, which is a very typical like Indian dress to wear, like which you like to wear when you dance. And there'd be this one teacher with a stick, and she'd like beat the stick on the drum, and she'd be like, do these steps. So like literally for like an hour, all like the bunch of us would be doing is stamping our feet on the ground, like every time.
Really?
And it was really interesting because she would like create her own rhythm, and we would just keep stamping our feet and move our arms. And so Bharatanatyam typically is centered around enacting the story of gods and goddesses. So we would switch from acting like graceful, beautiful goddesses to like strong, powerful gods. And I think that's where my love for the stage and theatre stemmed, because I was acting all the time while I was dancing.
So dancing came first before theatre came?
Oh yeah, I was like dancing and then theatre, and definitely. So I love Indian classical dance. I love the costumes, I love the makeup, I love the look, I love the power that dancers have on stage. Like they don't even have to say anything, they can just dance, and it's such a huge impact. So I think that's why dancing has been a very essential part of my life.
Okay. I feel like a lot of people, not a lot of people, but enough people like kind of see dancing as like, so it's just a lot of movement, and like, so a lot of people kind of have a hard time finding like where they can't really pinpoint where the communication is. And so where do you find the communication usually?
For me, the communication is a lot in the eyes.
Nice.
Because, so Bharatanatyam, the dance I've done, is a lot of looking at the audience for like a split second and then changing your look towards something else. And it's a lot of, so you're playing a game with the audience's eyes. And
playing their emotions. Like.
And it's difficult because the audience doesn't understand what the song is saying. So it's like the song is just usually beats and or it's like in a different language. But I think you tell a story through your dancing. So you are the storyteller. The minute you feel like you are responsible for narrating a story, you feel like you can communicate.
Okay.
So
that's pretty intense. And I'm sure there's a lot of that going on in Midd Masti, which I was very, very involved in. Tell us about that. What's happening with Midd Masti?
Okay, so Midd Masti is like the best part of my week. We rehearse twice a week, Monday and Wednesday, and it's so nice to have people who like want to learn about South Asian culture and just be so open to learning Indian dance. And it's a challenge for me because I have to work with so many students and I have to actually literally explain every step, because steps that come so easily to me may not come as easily to them. So I have to literally break down a very simple step into like 3-4 parts and teach every step separately. And it's also challenging because I have to incorporate my own training with stuff that they are used to. So they may be used to more Bollywood, contemporary, like modern style of dancing, but I'm more from the traditional side. So I have to form steps that are like a fusion of both, and it's still fun to see. So that's basically what, for me, Midd Masti is a fusion of both parts of Indian dance.
And are you having fun with it?
I love it. I love it, especially this year, because we have so many more members and so many more people who are interested, especially freshmen.
I saw. That's cool, that's cool. So what are you looking forward to the most this year with Midd Masti?
With Midd Masti, I'm looking most forward to our Dance in the ISO show because, yeah, we've actually combined two choreographies. One very folk, very folk and traditional, and one very Bollywood and contemporary.
So we get to see the whole range.
We get to see the whole, yeah. So it should be nice to see the audience's reaction. Yeah.
So the ISO show is coming up in 2 weeks, but you also have like another performance coming up next week.
Yeah,
right?
so we're also performing for Miss Got Talent. So basically, so Miss Got Talent is just like a bunch of students who want to perform or like do something that they're talented like. So I think like the whole aim for Midd Masti this semester is to really get Midd Masti out there and do as many shows as possible, so that like our performers need the confidence. They need the confidence boost. Like they need to know that what they're doing is so fun to see, and it's a great way of spending their time. And that's why I'm like pushing Midd Masti to take part in like as many shows as possible.
Yeah, it makes sense. The more
people see you,
yeah. And I think the ISO show is also like a good warm-up for like the big show you guys have in the spring. In the spring,
yeah.
Have you guys said the theme yet, or?
Yeah, we have, but I'm not going to disclose it.
Oh, it's confidential.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So when is Midd Tech? It's on the Saturday, right?
Yeah, the Saturday.
Saturday. What's the date? November
8th.
8th. Cool. So 2 Saturdays in a row, 2 weekends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on our show.
No
really appreciate it. And so you guys heard it here. 2 Saturdays in a row, you can see Midd Masti, and of course you got to look into Akhila's eyes. As she said, communication to dance is right in the eyes. So Saturday, November 8th, Midd's Got Talent. Where's that going to be?
McCullough.
Is it McCullough?
Yeah.
Oh, the Wilson Hall, the new Wilson Hall. They named it Wilson Hall.
Oh, sorry, Wilson Hall.
But yeah, so Wilson Hall, November 8th, Saturday. Check it out. And also ISO show the week afterwards, November 15th, Saturday, November 15th, 5:30 p.m. and 8 o'clock. Yeah, so thank you all so much for coming on our show. Really appreciate it. And of course, and yeah, I hope to see you on the show. It'll be great.
I'll see you on stage.